Hey guys! Do you remember the time I used to do videos about how to make DIY soap? Yeah, it's been a while. That's why I'm going to show you how to make this cute DIY rainbow in the cloud soap today. It's super easy and fun to make, and it's perfect as a gift. Let's start preparing the rainbow part first. We are going to need 6 small containers and a few pieces of white glycerin soap to create 6 different colors. Next, melt the soap in one of the cups until everything is completely melted. This is going to take a few seconds. If you want, you can also add fragrance. My go-to scent is usually melon. Mix everything very well and then add 1 or 2 drops of purple soap colorant and mix everything very well. I'm going to create 6 pastel colors to make the rainbow look cute. That's why I just used a little bit of colorant, but of course you can make the colors more dark and vibrant. Now we need a rectangle mold. These types are usually the standard starter set for soap making. Pour in the soap inside the mold and then let it cool down completely. Be sure that each layer is not too thick since we need to fit 6 layers inside. While the soap is cooling down, we can start preparing the other colors by melting the soap and mixing in the soap colorant. The soap will be cooled down by the time we will be using it, but this way we can just remelt the prepared soap whenever we need it. Once the first layer has completely cooled down, use a toothpick and score in a few lines on top. And then spray some rubbing alcohol on top. Now heat up the blue colored soap again if needed and then pour in the next layer. Be sure the soap is not too hot or it might slightly melt the soap underneath. To remove any bubbles on top of the soap, you can also spray some rubbing alcohol on top. Now all you need to do is repeat the steps with the rest of the prepared soap until you've created 6 layers of soap in 6 different colors. If you want, you can also use some of the soap that cooled down on the bottom of the cups and create tiny soap by using small cookie or polymer clay cutters. This way you get cute confetti that you can place into the soap later. Once the rainbow soap has cooled down, it's time to remove it from the mold. And this is how it looks. As you can see, the layers were slightly too thick, that's why there was little space for the red layer, but it still turned out okay. Now with the rainbow soap, we can create several pieces. First, you can cut off the sides of the soap to create clean edges. And then all you need to do is cut a few pieces of the soap along the longer side. You can cut them at any width, but I would suggest making them not too thick and not too thin. Now before we create the rest of the soap, we need to start bending the rainbow into the right shape. Slowly start bending the soap at the middle and on the sides. But do that very carefully and gradually, or otherwise the soap will break. The soap will also warm up a little bit in your hands, so it will be a little easier to bend throughout the process. You can also use a small bowl and place the rainbow inside so it can stay in the round shape just like that before we can use it. Okay, now let's move on and create the fluffy clouds. Melt some white glycerin soap and add some fragrance inside if you want. Let it cool down a little bit and then all you need to do is use a whisk to whip the soap until it cools down and creates a fluffy texture. At some point I thought I accidentally created soap slime, as you can see, but once the soap has cooled down in the process, you will get the right texture of soap. Now while the soap is still slightly warm, we can move on to creating the soap for the blue sky. Melt some white glycerin soap again and add a few drops of blue soap colorant. I only slightly mixed it because I wanted to keep the marbled effect here. Now you can either use a soap or a cupcake mold. I will be using both to show you 2 different versions. Now pour in the soap inside the mold and place the rainbow inside. As you can see, the silicone mold bent a little bit, but I kinda like the result after the soap has cooled down exactly in the shape. Here I waited a little bit too long, so I reheated some of the blue soap again and added it on top. And while the soap was still warm and liquid, I placed a few pieces of the fluffy soap next to a rainbow and made it stick to it. I would recommend to place the rainbow soap inside the mold first, as I do it here, and then pour in the melted blue soap inside. This way you can just work quicker and the soap will be still liquid. And while the soap is still liquid, you can place the clouds around the rainbow and also add the confetti that we prepared earlier wherever you want it. If you wait for the blue soap to cool down just a little bit and then place the tiny stars inside, the top layer will get these small wrinkles, and I really like the effect it created. It didn't look just perfectly flat, but it got this interesting texture. If you want, you can also add some glitter on top of the soap to make it look more magical, but of course I went overboard and had to remove some of the glitter with the tissue paper because it was way too much. Now we just need to wait for the soap to completely cool down, and then we can remove it from the mold. I'm really happy how it turned out. I even like the cupcake mold version even better. What do you guys think? I really hope you liked this video and found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It will mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Bye!